Hi everyone, I'm Jasmine and today we're going to be reading Where the Wild Things Are by Maurice Sendak. This is actually my favourite picture book because I really love the way that the book gets me to use my imagination. So when I'm reading the book I think of all of these different ways that the characters might be acting or moving all in my head, and I hope you love it too. So on the front cover we can see maybe a beast or a monster of some kind, and it looks like his eyes are closed, so maybe he's sleeping and dreaming of something. And over here is a boat. I wonder if the monster came to this island on the boat, or if it belongs to someone else. Now this picture book doesn't have a blurb on the back. Doesn't have any writing on the back to tell us what the story is about. So we're just going to have to start reading without reading any blurbs, which is actually quite exciting because then we're just reading without knowing about anything at all except for what the front cover tells us. Let's get reading. Where the Wild Things Are by Maurice Sendak. The night Max wore his wolf suit and made mischief of one kind. And another. His mother called him Wild Thing, and Max said, "I'll eat you up." So he was sent to bed without eating anything. That very night in Max's room, a forest grew. Wow. And grew. Look at all of these trees, and the reeds, and the grass, all in his room. Doesn't look like a room anymore. And grew until his ceiling hung with vines and the walls became the world all around. Wow, it's definitely not his room anymore. And an ocean tumbled by with a private boat for Max, and he sailed off through night and day. He's even got his name written on the boat. Right over here, it says Max. And in and out of weeks and almost over a year, to where the wild things are. This wild thing looks like it's blowing out smoke from its mouth towards Max. And when he came to the place where the wild things are, they roared their terrible roars and gnashed their terrible teeth and rolled their terrible eyes and showed their terrible claws. Till Max said, "Be still," and tamed them with the magic trick of staring into all their yellow eyes without blinking once, and they were frightened and called him the most wild thing of all. They do look frightened. And made him king of all the wild things. "And now," cried Max, "let the wild rumpus start." Wow. Look at Max over here, with his mouth open. I wonder if he's roaring like the wild things. And the wild things as well look like they're dancing to the moon up in the sky. They look like they're having a pretty good time. Oh, and over here, it looks like they're climbing the trees. They're a bit like monkeys, aren't they? Wow, and over here, we've got King Max. Lucky King Max getting a piggyback on one of the wild things. "Now stop," Max said, and sent the wild things off to bed without their supper. And Max, the king of all wild things, was lonely, and wanted to be where someone loved him best of all. Then all around from far away across the world, he smelled good things to eat, so he gave up being king of where the wild things are. But the wild things cried, "Oh, please don't go, we'll eat you up, we love you so." And Max said, "No." The wild things roared their terrible roars, and gnashed their terrible teeth, and rolled their terrible eyes, and showed their terrible claws. But Max stepped into his private boat and waved goodbye. And sailed back over a year, and in and out of weeks, and through a day. And into the night of his very own room, where he found his supper waiting for him. There it is. And it was still hot. The end. Thanks for reading Where the Wild Things Are with me. I'll see you next time. Bye.